Hello everybody, and this is another episode of Kingdom News, and today I wanted to talk to you about the approaching one world government. Now, as born again believers, we know that there is going to be a one world government that the enemy is going to try to bring into the world through the anti-Messiah. Now, we're seeing so many signs of that today. There's so many signs everywhere, but today I want to talk to you about two of those signs, two things that you should be looking at. So we know that the Father is a king and he has his own kingdom that he owns. Everything in that kingdom, from money, resources, homes, to even the citizens itself that he created, he owns them. We know that the serpent, he wants to be like the Most High. He wants to own everything. So he's trying to slowly bring in the government to where he owns everything. This is why in Revelations, the anti-Messiah will tell everyone bow to him, and you can't buy, you can't sell, you can't trade unless you do the things in his new way of government or the culture that he's trying to bring in. Have you heard of the CBDC? The central banking digital currency. It's an idea that your money is to turn into a cryptocurrency that is controlled and regulated by your nation's government rather than private banks. So the government knows how you use your money, when you use your money, and everything else. Now we're seeing Biden saying that he wants to report if people are spending more than $600, he wants to know exactly what you're doing, because the new world government is going to come in and they want control over everything. Just like the Father is the one who owns finances, but the enemy, he's going to take us to a next level and trying to control everything. The Father, he gives you free will, but the enemy, he's going to try to control and see in everything that you do. And if you don't bend to the way that he does things, he's going to take it away from you. We see that culture being brought in today, council culture and things of that nature. If you don't agree or you say something that people don't agree with, we'll take everything from you. We'll ruin your life, take all your finances and things of that nature. Another thing that's being pushed is the whole carbon emission agenda. Now, whether you believe that carbon emissions and the CO2 and things like that are damaging our earth, global warming is true or not, many people go back and forth about it. One thing that is true, though, is that we're seeing that it's an agenda that's being pushed to help lower population. Now, Bill Gates came out and said that the population needs to be lower because humans themselves produce carbon. They also say we need to move away from gas-powered vehicles and things of that nature because they're also emitting a lot of carbon. Now, one thing we know as born-again believers is that the Father, he's not really with that decrease in the population. The Father said he came to give life and life more abundantly. He didn't come to take away life. Also, he told us as humans to be fruitful and multiply. So his thing was to fill the earth. He said fill the earth and subdue it. So this whole thing of coming up saying we need to lower population is sketchy if you're a born again believer. So that's something that you really need to be looking into. Also, another thing is that looks very, very sketchy is if we look at the people who are really telling us about this global warming, they don't practice what they preach. If you look at a lot of these companies that talk about we need to have cleaner energy and stuff like that, they still put their money into things that so-called damage the earth. Now we look at somebody like Barack Obama. He was somebody that was talking about global warming and things of that nature, and how we need to be making sure that we're helping, with CO2 emissions. But Barack Obama spent millions of dollars in buying beachfront property. So if he's somebody that believes that carbon emissions is destroying the earth and global warming is real and stuff like that, why would he invest his money into an area that is known as going to suffer catastrophic consequences because of this so-called global warming? So that's other stuff that you should be looking into and not taking stuff at face value of what you see on the news, because a lot of these things are sketchy. Why are they pushing these agendas if they're not going to practice what they preach? The World Economic Forum is basically telling you that the COVID-19 pandemic was an excellent sign that we needed to change things and reshape how the world does things and put it in a new image. You also hear people like Joe Biden saying that there's going to be another pandemic. So, if you have to really look at these things and understand these things, because they are basically setting the foundation for a one world government that's going to try to come in and control everything. And this is something we need to know, once again, as born again believers, because we need to be able to shed light in darkness to those who want to know and want to understand. Shalom.